fight week for Bellator 219, and we have one half of the main event joining us right now. Saad Awad, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. It's Sunday before the fight. It sounds like you got your hands full with the kids. How you doing?
I'm good. Just busy with them, like always. Or sorry, I call you Mike, but Micah. Yeah, I'm over here with the kids, just kind of hanging out with them today. Wife's running some errands, and just relaxing. Today's my day off, so I usually just relax with them on Sundays, and it's nice weather outside, so it's pretty cool.
Tell us a little bit about what this week is entailed for you.
Just go check in on Tuesday. Do a light session on Tuesday night. Drop a little bit of water weight, and then Wednesday night do all my media stuff, and then have like a late night session again. Cut a little bit more water weight, and then be on weight for Thursday morning.
In the main event, there in California, not big travel. How pleasant is all of that?
It's awesome. I'm happy. I like finding at home. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to travel too because I get to go places that usually I wouldn't go to. But I like traveling. I like staying home. Everyone gets to come out and watch me fight. And if I need anything, I'm 30 minutes, 40 minutes from my house. I could send somebody to go get it. If I want to come home, I could come home. Which I usually don't. But I mean, everything's around, so I don't have to worry about asking somebody for a ride to run to the store and do this and do that. I got to bring my own car out there. I got to leave and go as I want. So, yeah, I like it.
Coming off of the setback against Benson Henderson, what did you learn in that fight?
I learned a lot. You know what I mean? I learned I just need to be a little bit busier in certain positions. I got comfortable. No, I wouldn't say comfortable, but I mean, I spent too much time on my back when I knew I should have worried more about scrambling. I got frustrated, which usually I don't get too frustrated in my fights. I'm pretty good at controlling it, but I think the fact that it was like a bigger fight, it got me a little bit frustrated that he would do the things he did in the fight. So, but it's okay. I mean, I'm glad that happened because now, I mean, who else is there that's going to be that has his pedigree, I guess you'd say, and that I really have to worry about doing dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Right, definitely. And did it feel like the biggest fight that you had been in a while?
I guess you can say that. You know what I mean? I guess you say the biggest name. You know what I mean? Like he was pound for pound the best for a while at a time in his career, and he's still the same person. It's not like he went and lost 50 fights and doesn't have a chin anymore and was still trying to fight just for money. Like some guys kind of do when they come back and they just come back for a paycheck. So and I knew that, so it made it more interesting. It made it exciting. For myself, knowing that we're fighting, and it was on a big card. I mean, I got to fight with Fedor, so when not too many people get to say that.
Fight didn't work out in your favor. It feels like you said you made a couple mistakes that have frustrated you that you've worked to recorrect. So would you say you got a pretty good feeling of where you are in the division? Coming off of that fight, you had 4 spectacular performances also before that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, get this win and jump right back into the driver's seat and be able to get, hopefully one more and get right back where I need to be. I believe I was right there in line for a title fight, and now the division is being held up again because the 45-pounder is coming up, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It's just going to give me time to win a fight or two, and hopefully I'll be the next one back in that, title contention spot.
What was your initial reaction right when you saw that they were going to do the Pitbull Chandler fight?
Honestly, I didn't care. If they said that or announced that before I had fought Henderson, then I would have been pretty pissed. Cause I would have been, because it's like, hey, dude, I'm on a 4-fight winning streak. There's not too many guys in the division that are, on winning streaks, and why would you bring up a 45-pounder? But now I'm like, okay, well, I don't really have an argument because I'm coming off of a loss, and I mean, the only guy that I know that fought for a title coming off of a loss is Chael Sonnen, and I can't talk like that guy. You know, I thought I've been had title fights. So, so that being said, you know, it is what it is. Let them fight. It don't matter. You know what I mean? It's just, I have my fight to worry about, and I just got to get through this fight, and you know, I have a tough fight ahead of me. And then once I get through it, then I'll start seeing and making noise and see what I need to do to get a title fight.
Right, because it's not like much momentum was lost in the Benson-Henderson fight. I mean, Bellator has put you right back in the forefront in a main event. So I see all that as a positive, that they obviously saw things that they liked in that last fight.
Yeah, I believe so. You know, and for them to put me back, and like you said, I mean, I was the co-main event. I did get bumped up, but they still had me basically headlining the fight card, and they put on an exciting fight. I mean, they gave me Brandon Girtz, who's extremely exciting. So they probably wanted to, you know, expected more of an exciting fight, and knew that Benson went out there and kind of wrestled me the whole fight. So now they give me this fight to put on a show, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Brandon Girtz has been in some of the most amazing wars that Bellator has had. What was your initial thoughts on getting this opponent?
I wasn't surprised, to be honest. We've been in Bellator for a long time, me and him. He's exciting, I'm exciting, and this is a fight that fans want to see. You know, I'm excited. Surprised we hadn't fought like way before. I mean, I know they tried to line this up before, but the fight fell through because they pulled him to fight Chandler. So I knew it was bound to happen. You know, it was bound to happen sooner or later, and they got the chance to make the fight. So now here we are fighting.
Did it also symbolize, thinking about this from the question before, with Bellator making the Pitbull Chandler fight, did you almost also take that as the division's kind of wide open? They're trying to figure out what to do with Chandler because there was no clear-cut number one contender?
Yeah. I mean, like the only guy that was there besides me was Patricky, Patricky, but he already lost to Chandler twice, so they probably didn't want to do a third fight again. So now they have a nice little grudge match going with him and his brother. So I guess that fight makes sense, and that's what they decided to do. So yeah, you're right. I don't think there's that many guys. I mean, there's a lot of good guys in Bellator. So don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good lightweights that are there, but there wasn't any on that had a lot of attention at this time. So I believe this is probably the fight that made the most sense to them.
And you said attention, and I think that's something that you can garner with an exciting fight this Friday night. And Girtz brings that kind of style, that kind of opportunity, I believe.
Yeah, he does. Like for fans that don't know who he is, go back, look him up. If that dude wins or loses, you're in for a war. You know what I mean? No matter who it is. Like, even he fought Chandler. That fight only went like a couple of minutes, if that. And from what I saw, it looked like he rocked Chandler in the beginning, and then Chandler came back, and he ended up having a big slam and dislocating his shoulder or something crazy. So like the dude's a stud. He comes to fight, and he comes to fight every single time, and he fights from the second he starts till the second the fight ends, whether he's losing or winning. So that's the kind of fight I like, and his style matches up with mine really good. So I think I think the fans are really in it for this one.
You're a big puncher. He's a bull, always coming forward. What's going to be some keys and important factors in this fight for you?
I believe I just can't give him too much of a firefight with him. The dude, he'll stay in the pocket and he'll throw, 2, 3, 4 punches. I think when you fight like that, it turns into a 50-50 fight. So I don't want it to be a 50-50 fight. I don't want it to take a chance like that. I want to be able to go and pick him apart and hopefully hit him with something hard and not get hit back with anything hard and get that win. If not, go out there and just try to outclass him, man, and then try to squeak by a victory without taking too much damage, if that's possible in this kind of fight.
Has that been something in practice you've been working on, like telling the sparring partner, all right, I need you to come right at me, just total forward pressure, just go at me?
Oh, yeah. I brought a couple guys that kind of spar like him, guys that I usually stay away from because they go they throw a little bit too hard when you're not supposed to. So I kind of brought those guys in and had my rounds with them, and even the guys that don't fight like that kind of had him. And he's a southpaw too. I have a couple of southpaws I had to work with, and just tell him, hey, throw your haymakers and throw them from everywhere. Throw them exactly how he throws them. Throw that kick that he throws, and shoot in too. The dude's a wrestler. Like, you can't forget his wrestling, and he might lean back on his wrestling for this fight, being that both coming off of losses, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do to win. Henderson did. So if that's the case, I've been working on my wrestling a lot. I've been scrambling a lot, working on my jiu-jitsu a lot. So I think I'll be really comfortable if we hit the floor in this fight. And if it happens, it's going to be a ground fight, and we'll see how it goes.
You mentioned it. He's had a couple losses in these last few fights. Needs to get back in the win streak. So has that been a thought in your mind? He could be shooting. I did get out wrestled. Ben did put me on my back, so I could see Brandon trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, everybody, everybody kind of has a game plan. And sometimes they switch it up, and everybody fights a certain way. But sometimes you have to stick to your roots when you really need a win. I mean, look at Henderson. Henderson came out. That was the last thing. That was the last thing people expected him to do was shoot in from a mile away or throw punches and get in. And then and do what he did, and he fought the smartest, safest fight he could have possibly fought. And who knows? If Girtz, I'm not saying he's not smart, but if he was just wanted to go out there and get a win, he's gonna watch my last fight and say, okay, well, he did this and this and this. This is what I need to do to get a win. Usually he doesn't do that. Usually he goes out there and he fights because you can tell he's a fighter. He loves to fight, and just like me. So it's either or. It's either or. He's either gonna fight smart and try to squeak out a wrestling win, which I think is going to be bad news for him, or he's going to, stand with me, and then it's going to be one of those fights that everybody enjoys.
Does a matchup like this, when you look at a guy that, again, he's been in some of those wars, does that get you a little more excited than thinking about a guy that's more possibly just going to dart in for the takedown?
Of course it does. Of course it does, because my style, like, I'll stand in front of a guy all day. I'm by any means like the perfect striker, or do I, have a really striking background. I love to fight. I don't like to sit there and squeak out or steal rounds. I like to go out there. I like to fight. I like to put it all out there, put on a good show, and be exciting. So knowing that he's the same way, I got excited about this fight. There's times where I fought jiu-jitsu guys, and I knew that that's what they're going to do. So I was kind of annoyed, like, why would you even give me this guy? But then I was good enough to keep on my feet and stop their takedowns and make it a one-sided fight. And then it was just bad news for them, good news for me. So, I get excited, man. I get excited when I get fights like this.
We've talked a lot about your fight. Got to bring up some other news close to you. Know that you're training at the training lab. And we saw some news with one of your teammates involved, TJ Dillashaw, vacating the bantamweight title. How shocking was that to you?
I mean, it was extremely shocking because that was the last thing, we expected something like that to happen. I mean, I know he's a clean athlete. We're all clean athletes, and sometimes stuff happens, and who knows what they didn't release what exactly happened. So we're not too sure like what they got busted for. I knew it was in New York, and I knew the real, zero tolerance to anything. So God knows what it is. And it's kind of scary because what if a supplement was tainted that he took? Who knows? Either way, I stand by him. He's my teammate. If he did make a bad decision, he did. He did what he did, and hopefully he didn't. And it was just, and this mess gets all cleared out.
I've seen some of the videos. I've watched some of the workouts, and you guys on the bikes. How different of an athlete are you getting in the strength and conditioning program now that you have been? What's this been now? The fourth fight you're heading into with them?
This is, I would say, third and a half. Because my first one, I did like half a camp with them, so I didn't do the full thing. And then the last two, I did do it with them. And yeah, man, I'm a different fighter. I know I have that gas tank. I know I can push, for 3 rounds. I know, a lot of times you get tired and you think, that's it, I'm done. And you give up, and you see guys do it all the time, and they fold, not realizing that they have that gas tank. All you got to do is sit back, take a deep breath, and next thing you know, you're ready to go, another 2 rounds. So I'm not afraid of gassing out anymore. I used to always be afraid of it, And that's one thing that kind of held me back. Like, I would go out and throw what I had to throw, and I have a lot of first-round knockouts. And if I didn't get that first-round knockout in the beginning of my career, you look at my record and my losses, I would lose the fight. If I didn't have a first-round knockout in my first, I'll say 15 pro fights. So, as I got more mature, as I started learning more, I started changing a little bit, my style a little bit. But joining the training lab and being with Coach Cal and getting that extra push and understanding that, that I can go longer and that he's pushed me past my limits every single time that I'm there. That's like, man, there's no way I'm going to get pushed harder in the fight than I do in that garage. And I know that. And the numbers don't lie. Like we have everything's down on the computer. All the numbers are there. All the power that we push is there. All the times that we break every time we're there. It's all there. So the numbers don't lie, and seeing that and feeling that and seeing what you are when you first go in there. And now, that I'm a shell of the person, or I guess you could say, I'm saying this wrong, but I'm a shell of the person that I was, I guess you would say, before I went in there to who I am now. And I see it all because all the numbers are there. There's stuff I couldn't do, like a quarter of what I'm doing now with my cardio, my conditioning, and my strength. So, like I said, numbers don't lie. And when you see it, you believe it. And then when you go start wrestling with people and you're noticing that they're gasping for air and you don't even have your mouth open, you're like, man, this stuff's working.
Wow. And I've seen, and Coach jumps in and also still partakes in these same exercises.
Oh, man. I was just there Saturday morning. Me and Pico had our workout, and he was showing Pico one of the workouts. Well, I was done because I was on my taper, so my workouts were a little bit shorter because we're close to the fight. And so he had Pico lay on the bench, and he was showing him what to do. So he grabbed the back of the bench, put his legs straight, and lifted his whole body up, like, in the air. Like, you use your core to do that. Yeah. And I'm watching him, and I recorded it, but I sent him the video. And he's doing it, and Pico's like, how did he get, like, it's almost impossible to do it off the back. And he said, yeah. He said, I saw Rocky do it back in the day. And he's like, I thought it was, he's like, once I seen him do it, I realized it was humanly possible to do it. He's like, so I trained I don't know how long he told me he trained. So I trained it so long until I got it. And he hit like 5 of them right in front of me. So, like, that's my next goal, to try to do something like that. Like, he definitely encourages us to be better. And he sets the bar extremely high with the workouts. Every workout that we do, he's done them. So it's not like he's going and putting this workout together that some of these coaches are doing, and they're just battering you down and trying to break you and push you as hard as they possibly can. Everything is like scientifically put together. There's a reason why he'll do the bike before he'll do the squats, or this before that, or whatever it is. And he does it all for a reason. And it's not just a game, man. It's not, and he knows that. So he's dedicated his life to his training, and for himself and for his fighters. So that's why, a lot of us are succeeding that are going with him, and I'm excited to go out there and put on a fight.
Temecula, California, Friday night. What does it take to get your hand raised?
It's going to take some discipline. It's going to take for me to be sharp and be aware, because I know this dude throws, and I know he throws hard. And what I mean by discipline is not going there, and bite my mouthpiece and just throw because I got hit. Because I know I'm going to get hit, and I know he's going to hit me hard. So I got to be on my toes. I got to be ready for what he has, and I got to be ready to deliver. Because I believe if I do, and if I catch him, I think it's going to be a short night. And if he catches me, it could possibly be a short night as well. So I just got to be smart out there.
It's always great talking to you, my friend. Can you remind everybody how they can follow you on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Saad MMA. That's SAADMMA. And it's on both platforms. If you search my name, you'll find my athlete page on Facebook. So go ahead and give me a follow. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM. I usually answer everybody that sends me a message, unless you're like a bot or if you have a fake profile, I won't respond to you. But I usually try to get to everybody that sends me messages, man. So thank you so much for taking your time. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully I'll be able to go out there and put on a great fight and move on to the next one. Did
you have any other sponsors or anybody you needed to shout out to?
Just thank you to all. Thank you to Coach Cal and all the guys at the training lab, Georgie, Arnold Jimenez. They've been helping me a lot. Juan, and then I just got a new sponsor that came through. It's Route 66 and Meat Delivery Service. They're out here in Southern California. They're hooking up all my meat. They're sponsoring me, and I signed a pretty good deal with them, and all their stuff's grass fed, and you got to check it out. They have extremely good deals. If you're in Southern California, look out for them. It's Route 66 Meat Company.
Awesome. Great talking to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.